What's up? Welcome to the first episode of Building the Brand, this new series. I guess a quick little introduction without belaboring it too much. My name's Evan. I'm 33 years old. I'm a family man. I live here in Sarasota, Florida. I've been a full-time solopreneur in the marketing space since 2019. I kind of took the leap. I've never really been great at being an employee for anybody. I love being in control of my own destiny and in control of my own calendar and all of that, but it comes with a lot of stress, and I am going through the process of building this brand called Content Juice. The space within marketing that I love the most, where I've built this brand, is within video marketing itself, and more specifically right now with Content Juice, what we do is we offer short form video editing services. So essentially this is a video agency, although I really didn't want to start an agency. But I have a big, grand master plan. I'm kind of more of like a vision-oriented type person, just kind of like a big dreamer. I do better with thinking about pie in the sky stuff as opposed to looking at spreadsheets and that kind of stuff. But I'm really in this spot where I just think it'd be so cool to share with you the process of me building this brand, because I am almost completely winging it. I've never built anything like this before, and really this agency is to help other creators, other brands, whether it's more business-based or for kind of like just for funsies, people who want to get more content out to the world. And like I said, right now what we do is we help brands with short form video content. So we take in your footage and then we chop it up and we put out really good content for you. And then it's an unlimited subscription service. Anyway, we don't need to go into all the details. As long as you stick around for these future episodes, then you'll learn more about kind of the business and what we're doing. But I'm kind of in this spot right now. So Content Juice has been a thing officially for like 7-8 months. It's June of 2024 right now. June 10th to be exact. And we launched the end of October, early November of 2023. So just over half a year that we've been a thing, and it's just been very like bootstrapped. It's really just me, and I've got some contractors, some freelancers around the world actually. Building this small team that helps me actually service our clients. And so I'm in that space where I'm just really wearing all the hats for the business for the most part. And I've never done this before. And what I know though is the best way for any brand to grow and get their message out there is through video content specifically. Obviously, that's why I'm so obsessed with it. That's why I love it from a marketing perspective. And I really think it's just the best way for people like you and I to feel connected, even though you may be on the opposite side of the globe from where I'm at here in Florida. So, and that's the thing, like, is just getting the word out there, your mission, your values, your business, just finding the people who will either cheer for you and like follow along online or even become potential customers. It's just more fun when life is shared with other people. It's just a richer experience. And so that's really what I'm trying to accomplish right now, is getting the word out more about Content Juice. And I've been struggling with this because I've been working on my personal brand for really since 2019. That's when I was taking it seriously as far as people associating my name with marketing, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to offer, what my services were going to be. Was I going to sell products? Was I going to be a freelancer? I started in email marketing actually before I got into video content and all that. It's just been this thing where you see all the people doing so well online. The more time that you spend watching content online, the easier it is for you to just feel really inadequate and not good enough. Like you aren't able to become successful in that space as well. And the fact of the matter is, all of us human beings, we all have emotions, and we're all impacted and affected by the things that we see and we hear, and also the things that we do or don't do. And so there's a lot of people online that are just watching stuff, just consuming stuff from their phone. I'm guilty of that. I'm a part of that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to build something like create a life of autonomy, like where you're in control of your calendar and your finances, and like you want to start up your own business, whatever it may be, you have to do, like you have to put things into practice, which requires a level of just kind of pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and saying, hey, let's just go freaking try it and see what happens. In worst case, we crash and burn, but now I have a life experience. I learned some things along the way. And if I'm open enough to sharing that story of my failure, then it can work out really well. And so really, it's just one of those things where if I'm going to talk online about why video content is so important and kind of use that as my message, that kind of helps promote Content Juice as well, because we provide this service that help brands, help people do this. I need to be about it. And for many years, the way that I'd figure out what kind of content to make was just watching what other people were doing and then literally just take the concept and just kind of speak on it with my own words. But I had no verifiable experience. I had no proof that I wasn't just like ripping off of somebody else's stuff. And I wasn't trying to be phony or come across as like that I'm something that I'm not. It's just that a lot of people, I think, and I know this because this was me, and I'm fighting that these days as well, even 5+ years later. There's a lot of people that try to just get online and record these videos talking about things that they've never done. And people see right through it. I mean, as somebody who sees this stuff online, it's pretty easy to call it out, right? I mean, you and I have both seen that kind of stuff. And so I think the best way really for me to build this brand, for me to get out of my comfort zone a little bit and share more of a raw, unfiltered look at my process and the ups and the downs and the sticky points of this whole thing is going to be through this series. And so that's what this is going to really all be about. And because I'm not like businessman 24/7, I've got 2 little kids, that 2 little boys. Jack is my 6-year-old. You'll meet him. And then Milo is my 4-year-old. You'll meet him as well. And my wife, Megan, we've got a lot of different things going on. It's summer just kicked off, so the house is a little bit busier, and we're actually back here. Got you on a very wobbly little selfie stick. But this is the home office. I mean, this is kind of like the content studio setup. And, before I even hit record, I was like, do I clean up? Do I make it look really nice so that people are impressed with what this whole thing looks like? And it's like, I mean, yeah, I'd like to be presentable. I'm not in my underwear. But no, this needs to be genuinely... Well, here, let's start another clip. Let's sit down. Okay. Good rule of thumb with video: if you want people to pay attention, change up the scene. Don't keep it the same when you sit at your desk the whole time. It better be really educational, really intriguing, or somehow really entertaining, or else people are just going to get bored. So maybe we'll just drop little video tips that I'm learning along the way throughout this series. But what I'm focusing on right now is just getting more content out there, okay? Because if we think about Alex Hormozy and kind of how he talks about getting leads, which you need, that's the lifeblood of your business, because leads turn into sales, and sales is the money to feed yourself and the people in your business. I mean, it's obvious. You need a pool of leads coming in, right? And so you can either go out there and get people manually, or you can place things out there that people can latch onto, and then they start to learn about you and associate you to your brand, or however it is that you promote yourself or your brand. But because of what Content Juice does of helping brands make more video and do a better job with it, and right now it's specifically short form video is what we do right now, we might as well be about it rather than just saying that we're so good at it but then not doing it ourselves. And one of the reasons I started Content Juice was because I needed help just for my personal brand of getting good video content out there. And so as I started working with editors and figuring out like how to find a good one and how to manage that relationship with an editor that lives on the other side of the world, there's just a lot to it. And I started realizing just how much of a hole in the market there is, or just how much of a need, really, because there are other brands that do this, but just a need for good video to be made, and whether it's on the coaching side or the editing side, whatever. And so anyway, it was a problem I had that I needed to solve for myself. And so once I found some good editors, I'm like, well, why don't I just help my editors have more work, And so at first it was like, okay, well, I just need to make as much content as possible. It's like, okay, well, but what are we making content for? Like, what's the end goal? What's the reason for it, other than like, hey, I just want more people to see my face, like the stupid vanity stuff. Like, what's the goal? Like, I need to put food on the table. Like, I have responsibilities. So how do you make like a legitimate career out of this? And so that's where I was like, all right, let's package this in a way where I can basically help other brands get better video done. And that can open up new doors. And there's a lot more that I want to do with Content Juice as a brand in the future, which we'll get into in other episodes. And I'll kind of share more of that along the way. I'm not going to really keep secrets or hide anything from you here, which makes me a little nervous, I guess, because I always feel like it needs to be like whatever I'm putting out there needs to be top quality, because since I'm trying to become the video guy, all my stuff needs to be really good and really well thought out and like perfectly framed and perfect audio and perfect lighting. And fact of the matter is, when you try to do that, you're inevitably going to put out way less content, number one. And number two, the content's still going to suck, because until you've put in the reps of figuring out what people want from you and what they care to hear you talk about versus what they don't care to hear you talk about, like, it's all just kind of shots in the dark. You just don't really know what's going to work until things start working, which means that you need to, it's kind of that quantity versus quality thing. And obviously quality is important, but a lot of times, especially now, the more raw and honest that it is, well, it can be edited or raw, I guess that doesn't really matter, but the more honest and genuine and just like real human to human type of thing going on that the viewer can feel, the more they're going to latch on. And that's what's working. And then obviously the algorithm is just based off of user behavior. So it's not like some robot in the background per se. It's about how people are engaging with or not engaging with your content. So anywho, one thing you will learn about me is that I can ramble pretty good, and all of the content that I've put out online up to this point, or at least most of it, is polished. It's cutting out the bad takes. It's removing the awkward silent moments between sentences while you're trying to figure out what you're going to say next. I don't know what this series is going to look like. I don't know how often we're going to post. I don't know what the topics are going to be, but I love the concept of building the brand, because I think there's a lot of reasons why, and maybe I should have them noted down so that it doesn't take me so long to articulate it. But the truth is, people are connecting with real, genuine content. So number one. Number two, the people that like watching startup businesses like being built from the ground up, like the solopreneur, like the dude like making t-shirts in his garage and selling them online through Shopify or whatever, and like building up a cool legitimate business from it and quitting his 9-to-5 job because of it. Like that type of content, those are the people that I want to connect with. Those are the people that I want to establish some sort of relationship or familiarity with there we go, with each other. And so this is my attempt and my effort in that. So let me know if you have any thoughts on questions or topics I should cover, whether it's about like making videos or content marketing as a whole, like from more of just like looking at it from the marketing perspective and any of that, or just being like a family man, building a startup business, hiring editors, whatever. Like, let me know what you're interested in learning about, and I will try to embed that and weave that into this process. So really excited to have more content to post. Just really looking forward to, I know we're on the cusp of some really cool opportunities. And for me right now, and for my brand Content Juice,
right now, this is the season of getting the word out, of getting in front of people. And so we'll be running I'm actually going to be working on setting up some Facebook ads this week, which I've dabbled with before, but I've also hesitated on doing it because I don't want to just piss away a bunch of money and then not have that, to use on something else in the business. So I don't know. We're going to be learning as we go, but we're in that awareness phase, letting people know that we exist so that we can continue to figure out the best ways as a brand, as a company, to help people build their brand using video. That's kind of the main underlying topic of who we aim to help and how we want to help.
All right, so I'll kind of share with you my top 3 priorities. I keep all of my stuff inside of Notion, which we can dive into kind of the tools that I use, the software that I've been using. I've been using Notion for a long time, and I've got this just really, I'll let you kind of see. I'm not going to zoom in too much because I don't even know if there's stuff here that you should be seeing. But really, I just have a very simple to-do list that I duplicate this page every single week. And then on Mondays or on Sundays, I'll just fill it out. Let's set it up like that. Just with kind of how I think the week is going to be going. So I can, obviously, I pull up my calendar next to it and do that whole thing. But for this week's top objectives, right now I have launch CJ ad campaign, so contentjuice, Facebook ad stuff. More so Instagram, I think, is going to be the place that we're going to be. Create and schedule some more content. And so this video right here is a part of that. And until I get a good system in place for like what kind of recurring content to make, like a series like building the brand versus the standalone stuff that we do, whether it's a long form video on YouTube, which I've got one of my editors working on my next one right now, or just like standalone shorts. Usually I'll just write out some concepts, like on another Notion page and just use it as a loose script. And I'll film 7 or 8 shorts with my nicer camera, actually, which is back here. We'll talk about that different time, but I need to kind of figure out my strategy with what content we're making and what cadence, what's the routine with it, when do things go out. So yeah, that's the other thing, is just kind of, instead of trying to be overly strategic, which strategy is important, again, it goes back to thinking versus doing. The more that I sit down and try to like plan out and have like the master plan ready to go, the whole strategy of how we're going to do all of our content marketing for the next, even if it's just for the next quarter, it's like, yeah, but I think the most important thing is just that you're trying things and paying attention to what's working, what's not, and making informed decisions based off of the feedback and the data that you collect on what videos did get views, which videos did not get views, like all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's just a matter of, don't try to put up so much friction between you and the process of creating. I mean, that's step one. And I can be my own worst enemy, because as I'm like got these big like long-term plans and excitement and like pie in the sky dreams of what Content Juice can turn into and how this can all evolve over the next 2 to 5+ years. When it comes down to the daily grind of like, what should you be spending your time on? Sometimes I get a little bit stuck, and then I'm like, okay, well, like let's make a 30-day plan, but then everything feels important. And that's something that I'm working on and learning as I go. And so I think it's just a balancing act. You'll find that I'm very big on just the concept of balance, because I just know it to be so true in other areas of life. You got to get good at the balance. Like, so yes, you want a plan, but you need to leave room for like inspiration, and you need to leave room in your calendar for like, hey, I'm going to grab my camera and like record this thought, or I'm going to write out like this tweet or two because I have it on my mind. Like, if you make yourself so robotically rigid within your calendar and like what's going on, sometimes that can be to your detriment. But it also plays into your personality type as well. So I think there's a variety of factors that play into what's going to be the best approach for you as an individual. And if you are a business owner or thinking about starting a business, you can't just take all the advice you hear online at face value, even if it's from somebody that's well respected and like deserves to be listened to, because everybody has their own approach to things in life, like beliefs and religion and faith. Like there's a lot of people that believe in God, but they believe in a different version, like different versions of God, or there's different stories around what God is, or maybe that's a bad comparison, but I think that we really need to pay attention to what works best for us, because at the end of the day, if you talk to the successful people and you look at a spread, even within the similar industries, there are different personality types. There are people that work late at night and then sleep in until almost lunchtime. There are people that get up at 4 a.m. and then go to bed. They're sleeping at the dinner table basically, and they're both making tons of money. So I think that's one thing. But this week, again, going off on a tangent, this week we're focusing on getting some Facebook ads up. I'll show you what we're doing on that. And then we're gonna do some more content, just more organic content, because I think between the paid ads, running some of that and testing that with small budget, and I'm talking small budget, which we'll get into in a different episode, between that and then just more organic content creation, we can also look at, okay, which of our organic content's doing the best, and then we can just flip that into a paid ad campaign if it makes sense to do so. But yeah, and then past that, I have short-term goals as the third priority in this orange box here, which I struggle with setting goals. I don't struggle with having dreams and big fancy ideas, but I do struggle with setting goals and then having like a clear plan of attack with that kind of stuff. So anyway, welcome to this series. And if you're listening still, I appreciate you. I really do. And I want to be at my highest and best use for you. So let me know what your questions are. If there's anything that you want me to talk about, holler, and we'll keep on doing this thing. And welcome to Building the Brand.